to the rivers, beside golden sands too. Listen up, Perth, this anthem's for you. All over town, Perth Swan cricket lighting the way. The great game of cricket, we live it every day. It's a battle of will. The smell of the turf and the cheers that still thrill. Grass beneath our feet, we sweat and we grind. The heart of Perth Swan, we're one of a kind. So come, raise your voices, let the anthem ring. We're the pride of Perth Swan. Hear the songs we all sing. Perth Swan's on fire. With the sound of the game, Perth Swan's on fire. Feel the energy soar. When the crowd starts roaring, we're ready for more. The community sports show, the home of the PSCA. Don't hang around. Come and join us today.
Sharing the love on a Friday night. It's what we do. It is, of course, Friday night. It is the community sports show. And I am Noelzy Johnston. The spare chair is bare. Unfortunately tonight we couldn't quite organise someone. So if you'd like to be a guest in the chair, then the spot's open for you. Just message us and we'll roster you in to be a co-host here on the Intersport Slater Gartrell Perth Swan Cricket Association Friday night review show. Each and every week we go through every single grade of the Perth Swan Cricket Association and have a look at the highs, the lows, and plenty of stuff in between. And there's a ton to get through tonight. T20, Cricket West. Of course, we have our award winners for video of the week. and of the month. We've got the Effort of the Week award to give away. And in some very exciting news, oh yeah, the Community Sports Show Perth Swan Cricket Association All-Stars team is official and has been endorsed and is now a official part of the Perth Swan Cricket Association. Now, I put a post up yesterday explaining the basic rules. It's going to be based on regular season performances, a mix of stats, my gut vibe. I go through every grade every week. It'll be open to batsmen and bowlers from every grade. A top four, a middle four, and then a tail is what I'm looking for, and somewhere in between I'm hoping to find a wicket keeper. There'll be one spare per group, and there will actually be an official uniform, cap. No game at this stage, although stay tuned on that. So, yeah, the Community Sports Show All-Stars. We are a real thing, and we'll announce who's in and who's out of our All-Stars team at the end of the show. Just want to give a big shout out to all of our new supporters. Plenty of you coming on board over the last few weeks. A big shout out to you wherever you are from across the globe. It's good to have you with us. I appreciate your support and that of the clubs out there doing their bit and sharing our posts. And a little bit later I'll announce the actual figures as we go into the Christmas break, and I have to say they are mind-boggling even for me. Alright, before we look at the grades, good day there Varun. We'll find out whether Varun has won the Video of the Month award a little bit later. He's certainly stood out with his sixth a couple of weeks ago. Now, before we talk about standing out, I just want to give a couple of standout mentions to Edo and Richo of West Coast. Unfortunately, the two fellas had a midfield collision last Saturday on the broadcast. It wasn't really very good. We panned away as quickly as we could, but over an hour delay as we waited for the ambulance. Our thoughts are with you guys. Hopefully you're on the mend. Our thoughts also go to Swanview Cricket Club, who put on the sudden unexplained death in children event on behalf of Sadie and Luke Otway last week. Well done to everyone involved in that fantastic initiative, and well done to West Coast again for their Pink Stumps Day. They had back-to-back Pink Stump Days. And my final mention before we get into the grades is for Chris. Chris Hawkins has come on board. He's not going to be every single week, but Chris has come on board. He made his way out to Hillcrest last weekend for the first grade action between Bayswater and Carlisle, and took a great selection of picks. So thanks, Chris. Good to have you on board. Some of his pictures featuring in our Warriors of the Week video. All right, well, let's get into it, because with no one here to distract me, I could almost just talk my way through the notes. So we'll have a look, as we do every week, at each grade. Now, I need to be up front here. I've looked at every grade, I've looked at every match, and there are still a few blokes called Phil. And I'm sorry, Phil, if you did well and your surname's in, you're not going to get a mention. It's just a simple philosophy these days. If you haven't registered, we can't give you recognition. So please make sure you sign up with your clubs so that they can get the credit as well. All right, well, the first grade, they went into the one-day mode, and some questions have to be asked every year around this time of year. I ask it, and the Bulldogs again maybe fall into the curse of Hillcrest and one-day competition. Bayswater, 7 for 235, a good knock there, no doubt about that. Off their 40, lost to Carlisle. 5 for 237 in 39. Les Moody Mazenod, 157 off their 40, beat SKLP, all out for 116 off 29, and Swanview 9 for 244, defeating Forestfield 186. Well, this bloke has got a mention for the last few weeks in a row, and he's continued his good form. Nicholas Scholl of Bayswater, the standout batsman, with 87 not out, batting at 5 there. Nicholas really is just, he's been in and he's been out, and I'm going to have to reflect on whether to put him back in the All-Stars. Good effort there, Nicholas. Luke Otway, well, Swanview coming together to support the Otway family last week, and that obviously lifted Luke up. He had 77. Rusty Aaron Russell with 66. Brendan Philpott had 64. Ahmad Khan had 61. Taylor Tobias had 48. Kyle Roach with 46. Jack Gervin had 41. And then Trent Kinley with 39, and Joel Shaw had 37. While for Forestfield, Sammy Spence had 34 not out, batting at 9 off 43 balls there. Well done there, Sammy. And James Alexander chipped in with 31 off 46, batting at 11. So 60 runs there from the tail of Forestfield last week. Have to wonder what's happening up top. Well, one thing that happened is a golden duck. Yes, just the one there. Kush Gorshia was the best of the bowlers. He had 4 for 38, while Matt Dacey 3 for 9. Matt Barrington 3 for 15, with both Chase Emmons and Leon Ottobreno getting 3 for 24. Otto chipping in with 3 catches as well. I called him out last week, and obviously I've upset him because he's come out with a bang there. Well done, Otto. Nitin Jasani had 3 for 29. Josh Francis 3 for 31. And rounding out the bowling mentions, Tanvir Sivan with 3 for 42. Now, just having a look here, I will mention, as I do every week, extras. If you get more than 30, you will get, or 30 or more, you will get a mention. But Bayswater going down by 2 runs with less than an over on the board. I have to question, 28 extras to Carlisle 17, so 11 the difference there. Was that the difference in the game? I'm not sure. All right, well, Bayswater continue to lead, but they've dropped one, so they're 4 and 1. SKLP and Swanview sits second and third respectively with 3 wins. Carlisle and Les Moody Mazenod with 2 battling it out for 4th, while Forestfield hold up the tail with 1. Now, this is the last show. I should have said it at the beginning. This is the last show, and it is the final show before Christmas, except for the T20 next Tuesday. So we'll have a look at the games that are up on the 3rd of January, because all of the 2-day competitions will be in one-day mode on the 3rd. Hopefully they can find enough people. All right, Les Moody Mazenod taking on Carlisle, Bayswater taking on Swanview, and SKLP in a battle against Forestfield that they should take out the points on. Now, before I go too much further, we had them introduced at the top of the show at the end of the anthem there, but I want to give an acknowledgement to our platinum sponsors. Vision Decor, for all your curtains, blinds, awnings, and even hybrid floorings. Vision Decor. As summer approaches, they have just closed down, as have ID Athletic, but get them to come out, give you a quote in the new year, keep that summer sun out on your front or back. indoors or outdoors, it doesn't matter. Well, ID Athletic, sporting apparel and promotional club merchandise have actually come on board again and are a proud platinum sponsor, contributing to our giveaway packs as well. And I'm pleased to say we put up a post about the All-Stars, and we also shared a brand new Perth Swan Cricket Association coloured community sports show singlet. So we'll be changing our shirts towards the end, or our singlet giveaways towards the end of the year. Keep an eye out for that, thanks to ID Athletic. All right, let's get into the second grade now. Oops, I'll just slide back across there. Second grade, Allenbrook 5 for 223 defeated University 7 for 186 off their 40. Caversham 143, and I'm not going to say it was Caversham due to be here, but there's a couple of Middle Swan victories over Caversham in the last few days. Hiding from me, maybe? I'm not sure. Well, Caversham 143 off 38, they lost. Wasn't to us, it was to SKLP 9 for 147 there. And Ascot getting the extended holiday, they had the bye. Well, with just 2 games, there wasn't a whole lot of great standouts, but some special mentions here have to go to Sheldon Baker, 57 not out off 78, bat in at 6 for Caversham, and he took none for 21 off 5. Well done there. This number 6 position in the All-Stars team, viewers, I tell you what, it is hotly contested. Milan Debasia, he maintained his spot in the side with 3 for 20 and 44 off 59, also batting at 6. So Milan actually in the All-Stars batting at 4, just showing that he can bat all around. Speaking of other batsmen, Josh Canal, we celebrated his milestone last week. He had 77 not out. Will Dawson had 60 off 71, batting at 4 for Uni. Nathan Willesee 52. Riley Watson in amongst some mentions, the video mentions I should say. He had 49, including a very big 6 where, Riley, I'm going to say it at the top of the show here. Your non-striker, he ran down towards you. You just hit that ball straight back over the bowler's head, stood there, hand on hip, and just did not move. So Riley Watson needing one more for a 50. He had 49. Pratesh Vasani, 45, not out. And Ben Olivieri had 44. Well done there, Ben, for Uni. Couple of Goldens, Caversham and Allenbrook. And I'm going to just say here, I said last week and over the last couple of weeks, I think there's a few people getting repeat Golden Ducks. We're only mentioning the clubs, but over the holiday break, I will be going through and double checking. All right, Sadhu Singh had 3 for 13 for the bowlers, while Lindsay Natty had 3 for 23. Just 2 mentions there. Ladder-wise, Allenbrook sit on top there, 39.9 points, and Ascot a couple of points behind with 37.8, both on 3 wins there. Caversham on 19, Uni on 17, and SKLP on 16. So literally just a couple of wickets between them there, all on 1 win, battling it out for the minor places. They'll also be back on the 3rd of January. SKLP taking on Ascot. Allenbrook will enjoy the long break, while Uni will host Caversham. All right, let's get into it. 3rd grade. And I'm going to start with the Goldens here. Just 1. That was to SKLP. And I say that because SKLP all out for 80 off 35 overs. That is a slow run rate there. Sri Kuchleva Patel might want to work on that. They lost to Swan View 3 for 139, chasing that down in the chasing it down, I'd say after about 7 overs, because that was off the mandatory 20. Uni 5 for 167 off their 40, went down to Les Mazenod, who put on 6 for 170. Ascot 7 for 177, again off 40, so good to see sides batting out their 40. And in the 2-day grades, really, I don't see any reason why they shouldn't. Ascot defeating Bayswater, so that curse I said about Bayswater in 2-day formats, well, seems to come into effect. Bayswater all out for 45 off 29, and that on a run per over rate is even slower than SKLP. Joey Quinlivan had 82 batting at 1 for Swanview. Jason Paletti had 69 not out, while Ryan Kovalevs of Uni had 62 not out, a few good not outs there in the 60s. Simon O'Sullivan had 48, Chris Lodewijk had 42, and Matt Stacey 41. Well, Chris Evans was the top of the 30s. He had 36. Ashad Hirani had 35. And I'm glad I went back, because I would have missed this one otherwise. There's Murdy Mazenod, Pat Carney rounding out the batting mentions for 3rd grade with 33 to his name. Good to see everyone online. Thanks for joining me tonight. I'm travelling solo. The opportunity is there for you. We had Bailey Cayley in here last week. Thanks for being part of it. And there, Bailey O'Keefe online for West Coast there. Well, I'm probably going to head out on Sunday, Bailey, looking at the fixtures and everything for the Cricket West. Congratulations to everyone that's been selected in those sides. Peasy sent the teams through towards literally about half an hour before the show, so I only have the captains for you, but well done, Bailey. I know you're stepping up there. All right, let's have a look at the bowlers for 3rd grade. Connor Brown, he had 4 for 58 for Bayswater, a standout, while Kyle Cornfield, he is in fact the captain of the Colts Association side. He took 3 for 4, and Michael Stevenson, the captain for Ascot, also chipped in with 3 for 7, so 6 for 11 by Kyle and Michael there for Ascot. Well done. Mayur Hirani had 3 for 16 for SKLP. He was the only other mention in the bowling stats. I mentioned this Golden at the start. SKLP, despite the Golden, they are on 4 and 1 with 36 points. 3 teams sit on 3 wins. Bayswater with 35.5, Swanview with 35.3, and Ascot rounding out the top 4 with 32.6. So 0.03 separating 2nd and 3rd there. And if you want to throw a blanket over it, just over 1.5 to top. Wow, going back to back, well, that'd be a great effort, and that's what I'm planning to see on Sunday. So just go out and play your game. Everyone that's in those sides, play your game, do your best. We know from the All-Stars that everyone can do a lot of things, so if you just do what you do and you do it well, and everyone does that, then we could well go back to back in the seniors and vets. All right, looking at the ladder, SKLP, I mentioned Bayswater, Swanview and Ascot, as I mentioned, in the top 4, while Les Mazenod and Uni both have a win, but they both of those really need a fair chunk of percentage as well. And when we come back on the 3rd, well, I won't be there, but when the competition comes back on the 3rd, SKLP will be taking on Bayswater at Karajini. I say I won't be there. Ascot, if you're watching and you're interested, then I'm open to conversations with you about heading down to Middleton Park for a 3rd grade 1-day match. and Swan View taking on University. Should go according to the ladder positions there, I reckon. All right, well, that is the 2-day or first, second and third grades done and dusted. You're here on the Community Sports Show with me, Noelzy Johnston. Thanks to Vision Decor and ID Athletic. It is the Intersports Later Gartrell Per Swan Cricket Association Friday night review show. And I'm going to take just a quick drinks break, and we'll be back in just a moment for the A, B and C grade scores. As we take a break, we'll be back in just a moment. Across the globe, you're here on the Community Sports Show.
Everyone and every sport is welcome to join in the fun, from the large and especially the small. We're here to help them to stand proud and tall. We tell you their stories with all of the glories. We lift up the stars from near and from far. Through Facebook and YouTube and Instagram too, sharing the love of connection, it's just what we do. The Community Sports Show, your home of the people, their tales and their dreams. It's the only place for you and your teams.
G'day everyone, welcome back. It is Friday night and you're here on the Intersport Slater Gartrell Per Swan Cricket Association review show. It's edition 10 and you're here with me, Noelzy Johnston, thanks to Vision Decor and ID Athletic, our platinum sponsors. And we appreciate the support of all our sponsors and encourage you to support those who look after us, including not just Vision Decor and ID Athletic, as well as Slater Gartrells and Joey's Swan Valley Diner. And there's a bloke out there who doesn't have a Facebook presence. He doesn't get a lot of work from us, I acknowledge that. But he's a top bloke, and I saw him sponsoring another community organisation today, Barna Construction. Josh Stork, Barna Construction, building big across WA, whether you want it locally, up north, down south, out in the goldfields. Barna Construction can help you build big. All right, well, let's have a look. My notes say shout outs, but I've had no mentions from clubs on milestones or things like that, so we'll soldier on. And that means it's time for the Vision Decor one day A grade competition. Not just supporting us, but supporting the competition. Mike and Lisa Ash, Vision Decor. Thanks very much for your support. Well, it was another run fest. We saw a ton of runs last week. Pardon me. And we saw another ton this week. Looking at the score lines, Mount Lawley Inglewood 8 for 185, went down to Hawke's Punjabi 6 for 189. Caversham 6 for 256, defeated Helena Valley in a big match there, 9 for 245, 500 runs scored there. Dianella 8 for 211, defeating Scarborough 8 for 194, and Yokine Pilbara getting up 7 for 160 to defeat Coolbinia West Perth 158. Alright, well, bowling mentions. This is the way we go. Batting, bowling, Golden Ducks and ladders. And now, I should say, viewers, at this moment in time, from A grade to I grade, there will be no fixtures announced tonight because they don't come back until the 10th of January. So we'll just go through the performances, give you the ladders, and then we'll move through. Fingers crossed. That'll get us just a little bit of time. All right, well, 3 standout performances here. Garganpreet Singh had 103 off 77, batting at 3 for Caversham with 13 fours and 4 sixes. Sean Cohen, also standout performance for Helena Valley. Even though they went down, Sean with 93 off 59, batting at 6, 7 fours and 7 sixes, and taking 2 for 32 with the ball. Ravi Olak had 33 not out at 5 and took 3 for 41, so some great double ups there. Darcy Middleton had 69 for Mount Lawley Inglewood. Rayan Cox, who is captaining the Perth Swan Cricket Association seniors side. Congratulations, Rayan. He had 67. Ash Brar had 60. Elijah Griffiths had 51. While Kapil and Gurbinder Singh both, not just 2, but 3. Kapil and Gurbinder Singh, as well as Rory McFarlane Barrow with 39, a popular number last week. Verinda Sandhu with 37 not out. Happy Balparai. Well, I'm just listing the captains here. Here's the skipper of the Vets. He had 37. Josh Crane had 36. Jordan Egan 35 not out. Davis Bode had 35. Glenn Welton 34. And coming down, last couple here, Shabazz Bangash. A big shout out to you, Shabazz. I've seen your likes and comments online. He had 32 not out. And Akash Sandhu, just sneaking in there, Akash, he had 31. 2 Goldens, 1 to the Sharks and 1 to Coolbinia West Perth. Syed Kazmi had 4 for 39. He was the only one with 4. Then we had Avi Bangu with 3 for 23. Manny Singh, 3 for 36. Hayden Boffey, 3 for 37. And Kale Lear rounding out the bowling mentions with 3 for 44. Well as bowling, we also mentioned the fielding efforts, and Bailey, I know I smile as I say this, he was one of the videos of the week, but I actually named Matt Shintu as the bowler, as the person to get the award. Don't worry, Bailey, he didn't win. I'm spoiling the surprise for after C grade. Chiranjeev Panchal, he had a standout performance. He took 4 catches for Caversham. Well done there, Chiranjeev. Caversham, speaking of them, they're on top 8 and 1, just ahead of Hawks Punjabi with 7. Dianella in 3rd with 6. A really tight competition here in the A grade. Helena Valley sit on 5. That's your top 4, and then we have a bit of a drop off. Scarborough and Mount Lawley with 3. Coolbinia and Yoko and Pilbara both with just 1. 2. I am maths challenged. I will admit that any day of the week. All 1-day grades, as I mentioned, are back on the 10th, so we won't look at their next games. What we'll do is look at B grade. Hawks Punjabi 9 for 180 off 40, defeating Southern Rossmoyne 160. Mundaring, go Mundaring, the Roos on the board, 5 for 204 in 39 to defeat the rivals from just down the hill, Glen Forest, 8 for 201. So a close game there. Mundaring, I suspect, would have been enjoying a late night. I hope you were, Mundaring. West Coast, 8 for 194 off 34. Lost to Caversham, 223 off 33 now. Reduced overs there. We had, as I mentioned at the top of the show, with Edo and Richo colliding midfield. We had an extended delay, and I just want to acknowledge that West Coast had 2 players down, an ambulance on the way for one not looking too well at all, and they were on the cusp of just saying that'll do for today, but they manned up, got back out in the field. So despite the scoreline, my hat's off to you, Coasters. A tough day for you, but unfortunately that is sport, and I did medicine for 40 years. All right, well, let's get into the batting performances. Mangi Bra had 87. The raunch Anthony Wills of Mundaring, he had 78 not out. Muhsin Ali had 74. Amritpal Singh had 58. Vic Muckleston, a good knock there. Vic, he was also one of the videos of the week, pulling up his 50. He had 57 not out. Samir Sohi, he had 52 at 10. That's what it says, 52 at 10. A good effort there. I don't know how that snuck past me because oh no, I haven't quite snuck the spot off Umesh yet. Harley Brown had 48. Julian Jeekins had 45. While the skipper for Glen Forest, Will Maddock, he had 44. But they really do need to find a way to tighten up their bowling, Glen Forest. 38 extras in that loss to Mundaring, probably contributing, and they were evenly shared amongst 6 of the, I think there were 8 bowlers. So at least you're giving everyone a go, but at what expense? Brad Partridge, he had 37 not out. Canva Gill had 36, while both Paul Craft of West Coast and Ryan Valalonga of Mundaring had 35. One golden, I said I was due to have Caversham here. They're missing, probably because they had a golden there. Ronan Leonard had 5 for 42, a good performance there, Ronan. Varun Margo, there he is, he's on there. He's waiting to see if he's won. He had 4 for 28, a good performance again. Aman Buller had 4 for 29. Trent Murdoch, I reckon, Trent, we're going to have to change your name to JF, Johnny Farnham, because almost every single week you're on a retirement tour. Trent Murdoch, 4 for 40, and Adil Shah rounding out the bowling mentions. He took 3 for 31. Well, Brabham. Varun's there, Amritpal's there. There is plenty of efforts at Brabham at the moment, and they sit on top. 2 games clear, undefeated, 9-0 going into the Christmas holiday break. Caversham have 7 and 2. Hawks Punjabi go 6th there. West Coast are in 4th. They have 5, ahead of Midland with 4. Glen Forest and Southern Rossmoyne have 2. And Mundaring, you're on the board. They've got their first. Never say it'll never happen. Always battle away, and that's what we love to see. All right, let's soldier on. C grade here. A few low-scoring games and then a big one. Caversham 217 off 36, defeating Bullsbrook 8 for 190. Bullsbrook, well, they've had a couple of glitches lately, proving they can be susceptible. SKLP 117 lost to the juggernaut that is Brabham, 4 for 118 off 21 there. Carlisle 95 in 32 went down to Forestfield, made it interesting, 5 for 99 in 31 to get the win there for the Hawks. And then the one that got away is what I got told on Saturday night. Middle Swan 192 off 39.4 overs, lost to Helena Valley 8 for 194. So that was off their 40 there for Helena Valley. Just a glitch at the end is what I heard about the mighty 78, but never mind. Go into the break with renewed vigour. Speaking of going into the break, he's in some good form. He was in the All-Stars early in the season and he's making a claim for a spot again. Brandon Girardi, 107 off 131 balls, 8 fours, 1 6, batting at 1, so it's a tough spot there. Everyone's getting tons lately. Plus he had 2 catches and a run out. Well done, Jura. Amit Kumar, well, another ton here. He had 100 off 93 for Caversham. Jeffrey Hammond had 51 at 4. Prabjot Singh had 40. Both Reece Griffith and Josh Downing had 38. Adam Colborne had 37. Puneet Pal had 34. Dan Foster 32. And rounding out the batting mentions for C grade last week, Vishal Patel 31, batting at 7 and taking 3 for 27. And if memory serves me correctly, Vishal, I'm just sneaking a look across at the All-Stars. Not quite there. Another spot. That 5-6-7 spot, I have to tell you, viewers, that is very hotly contested at the moment. If there's a keeper out there that can put on a 40 or a 50 and take 3 or 4 catches, well, they're probably going to take it because I haven't got a keeper yet. Speaking of keeping, well, SKLP are keeping the Golden Duck run up. They got another here in C grade. Belvinder Singh had 4 for 11 to be the best of the bowlers. Harley Prophet had 3 for 15. Ritesh Jasani 3 for 20. Samuel Friend held his spot in the All-Stars with 3 for 25. And looking across, he also had 10 down batting at 8. Who else we got there? Joel Hugo. Wow, see, I talk about keepers and up pops Joel. Just a pity he didn't put the runs on the board to go with the catches. 5 catches for Middle Swan. Joel, putting yourself in contention. But I've got to be honest, viewers. I will look and I will pick from every grade. Every team is eligible for the All-Stars. So 1 week you might get in, you might have a good performance, but it doesn't mean you're going to stay there. So I've got my eyes everywhere. Looking at the ladder for C grade, it's pretty close here. 4 sides all separated just by 1 win. Bullsbrook on top now with 7 and 2, I should say. Then we have where are we? Caversham, Brabham on 6 and 3, Carlisle on 5, Middle Swan just outside the 4 with 4, and Helena Valley and Forestfield with 3, SKLP with 2. So some bouncy performances there. All right, well, as we soldier on through, mindful of the time, just looking at myself here, we are, in fact, perfectly on track. Maybe I don't. No, say nothing, Noel. I'd love someone to be here with me. But for now, I'm going to take a quick tea break. We'll be a look at a few things. We'll be back in just a moment here on the Intersport Slater Gartrell Perth Swan Cricket Association review show. See, Bailey, I can do it without getting it wrong. Here on the Community Sports Show with me, Noelzy Johnston, thanks to Vision Decor and ID Athletic. I'll be back in just a few moments.
you're here on the Community Sports Show.
From the hills to the rivers, beside golden sands too. Listen up, Perth, this anthem's for you. All over town, Perth Swan cricket lighting the way. The great game of cricket, we live it every day. With the hills to our east and sandy shores on our west, Perth Swan cricket is always giving our best. With our heads and our bats both raised up high, over the summer we reach for the sky. Local sports shared from the suburbs we rise, with every single boundary we're showing our eyes. The vibe in the stands makes you glad you're alive. United as one, we strive and we thrive. As each wicket falls, the adrenaline flows. Our legends are leading and everyone knows. The ball's spinning fast as we take on the game. Perth Swan cricket, it's all in the
G'day everyone, welcome back. It is Friday night and you're here on the Community Sports Show with me, Noelzy Johnston, thanks to Vision Decor and ID Athletic on the Intersport Slater Gartrell Perth Swan Cricket Association review show. Well, we're halfway through and there's still a ton to get through, and we have just seen the Week 9 Warriors video. Now it's time to award the video moment of the week and also of the month. Well, this week we had 10 clips, and the candidates for the video of the week were Jasper Symes, he had 2, Brandon Girardi in there for his 100, Jonas Madinley for a ton, AJ Kang for a ton, Matt Shintu for the for the court, Ronan Leonard for the court and bowled, Samir Sohi with his 50, and Riley Watson with a massive 6, and Vic Muckleston of West Coast rounding out the candidates. Well, in second place, it was AJ Kang of Middle Swan with 27 votes. And the winner, well, I gave you a little sneak preview, but let's do it again. The winner with 30 votes for Week 9, or it is Week 10, but the Week 9 video of the week goes to... Riley Watson of Allenbrook for his big 6 there, and love the attitude, Riley, hand on hip. You knew it was going. Congratulations, you pick up this week's Joey's Swan, I'll get it in camera there, Joey's Swan Valley Diner gift voucher there. Whether you want breakfast, lunch, afternoon tea, morning tea, dinner, hot food, hot drinks, cold drinks, whatever you want, Joey's Swan Valley Diner will satisfy your thirst and your hunger from their great range. Well done there, Riley. He scores that voucher for this week and goes into the next monthly draw for an additional voucher and a $50 Slater Gartrell's gift voucher as well. Well, speaking of monthly votes, the round 2 candidates, we had 4 of them, no surprises there. They were Matt Saliakis of Western Wolves for week 5, Brett Roan-Holston with week 6, Ashik Nafiz of Maylands with his performance there, and then Varun Mago for the biggest 6 that Essex has seen in a while, and I suspect it has been seen all over Essex. Well, in second place with 28 votes for Maylands, Ashik Nafiz. Congratulations, Ashik. You don't get anything except the public recognition there. But the winner, and I've got to say, viewers, I can't wait to catch up just to hand him over because he's been enthusiastic and I love it. And I said last week, he does things wholeheartedly or he doesn't do them. The winner of the video of the month for this month goes to Varun Mago with 64 votes. Varun, you've got additional Joey Swan Valley Diner voucher there and an Intersport Slater Gartrell voucher. We'll organise for you to come pick them up, or if you're at the games over the weekend, let me know and we can organise to get those to you. Probably on Sunday or Monday if you're available. Nice little Christmas treat there to go along with everything else. All right, well, congratulations to Riley and to Varun for taking out those awards. Let's get on with it now because we've still got a few grades to go, and we'll kick it off with D grade. Southern Rossmoyne, 6 for 164, defeating Mount Lawley Inglewood, 8 for 161 off 40. Darlington have hit a glitch as well, 164, going down to Les Murdy Mazenod, 177. Scarborough, 187 for 3. They defeated Dianella, 120 all out for off 34. As I go back to the screen, Coolbinia West Perth, 119 off 33, lost to the City Beach Green Range side, 6 for 121 in 32 there, City Beach. In the batting performances, as I don't scratch my nose, I might need to trim my mow. Chris Murphy, he had 50 not out. Ryan Barnden and Ed Jones both had 44. Well, we've mentioned the Dianella one a few times. This time it's Andrew Robinson of Les Murdy Mazenod. He had 43. Wayne McDonald with 42. Harsh Patel had 41. Then we come down to James Bokerman with 39 not out. Ash Norton had 39. Joe Commandy had 38. Luke Grantham 37 not out. Anthony Lee 32. And again another person. This bloke is a keeper. Matty Butler of Mount Lawley Inglewood, 31 not out off 38, batting at 6 there for Mount Lawley Inglewood and basically getting 25% of the score there, Matt. So you're on the radar as a keeper as well. But just sneaking in the final mentions in the D-grade batting, Buster Amott and Neil Patel with 30. Which is the cut-off, so plenty of 20s, but you've got to get 30 or more to get a mention here. Unless, of course, you get a golden, like Coolbinia, West Perth and Darlington did. They both got 1 to give D grade 2 for the week. Hafiz Wakas had 3 for 26 and 38 off 34 balls, batting at 2 for Darlington. And when you look at that, Hafiz, 38, Darlington with only 164, so another player getting a quarter of the team's score. Shane Attard, he had a great day out with the ball, 4 for 9. Jeffrey Lang of Scarborough, 4 for 27. Clive Tilbrook, 3 for 19. Ryan Hall, 3 for 22. And Sumit Patel, 3 for 28. Now, if you're only just joining us, welcome wherever you are. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night as it is here in Perth. In the Perth Swan Cricket Association, when they come back in the one-day competitions, they will come back on the 10th. We'll have a T20 and a review show before then, and we'll have a two-day format or two-day grade competitions to get through on the first, so we'll deal with the games later. City Beach, well, they're 2 games clear of their coast rivals Scarborough. Les Mazenod also on 6. Mount Lawley Inglewood have 5 wins and 1.46, so they're actually ahead of Scarborough and Les Mazenod on percentage, but trail based on the win ratio there. Southern Rossmoyne have 4, Darlington, Dianella and Coolbinia West Perth, all with some work to do just to stay in the hunt. Not too far off, but you need a couple of wins there. The double Ds, Darlington and Dianella. Coolbinia, Peter Sharp, I know you're a good man and I love you, but I'm not sure. All right, well, one thing I am sure about in the E grade is who won the Mason battle. It was Dan this week, while Will won the Ho battle, and that'll make sense in just a moment. I'll have to give feedback to my prepper because these grades haven't been highlighted. Swan View 6 for 149, lost to Carlisle 160. Maylands only needed 20 overs to put on 2 for 173, and they had a big day out against Belmont, who were all out for 141. Allenbrook 105 wasn't enough, and they went down to Caversham 142. And Brabham had all 4 grades win here in E grade, 5 for 225. Defeating SKLP all out 165. Some efforts here. Rajesh Patel 69 not out. Vipin Mehta did in fact keep his spot. He's got 51 not out. Batting at 6 last week. Aman Singh had 44. Ashik Nafiz, who was a contender for the video of the week, he had 42. Lawrence Hessing. That's why there were no Belmont pitches, because Lawrence was playing. Shout out to you, Lawrence. He had 41 not out. Rishi Devadiga had 41. Saz Rahman and Alan Tyler both had 40. Jasper Syme, well, Maylands had 37 not out off 14 balls. Tristan Sanik 37 and took 3 for 13 to be the standout for Caversham. Shashi Chakur 36 with the bat for Brabham and 3 for 22 to be a great knock there, or great all-round effort I should say. And Michael Munson, the Zim, had 32 batting at 7, and Swan View chipping in 31 extras as I cast my eye up. They went down by 11. Extras, if you can, and I almost couldn't speak then. I actually heard today on the Test cricket commentary the top shelf commentators going extras. If you can actually, it might have been BBL to be honest. Extras, if you can take them out of your game, you improve your odds. And Swan View E grade really need to find something there. All right, let's have a look at the bowlers. Speaking of finding something, Brendan Scott had 3 for 11. Now, I mentioned Will was the better hoe. He had 3 for 13 with the ball and 35 not out, while Andrew took 2 for 10, so 5 to the hoes of Maylands. Darren Chandler took 3 for 20, no Royals there, DC. John O'Rintoul 3 for 25, and Hamish Madden, a new name for me there, he had 3 for 35, and Phil Rawlins, rolling, different time, sorry. Phil Rawlins had 3 catches for Allenbrook and went rawhide there. Golden Ducks, Allenbrook, speaking of Phil Rawlins, he might not have got it. Caversham, despite the performances there going down, or getting up over Allenbrook, I should say, Caversham remain undefeated. I'll put that all in sequence. Caversham remain undefeated on 9 wins. Maylands and Brabham are both 3 behind, so Caversham well out in front at the moment. Allenbrook, Carlisle and SKLP on 4 wins, battling it out for that 4th spot at the moment. Belmont just hanging in, they've got 3, while Swanview will be looking for their first win of the season in the second half. Maybe if they've been on Sanders' good list, who knows? Righto, F grade, Southern Rossmoyne. As I just lean across, I think I'm going to take a quick drink here. Southern Rossmoyne 1-1 for 124 off 19.4. Added 2 more balls to be a legal game there, Southern Rossmoyne. If I was the president, that'd be a forfeit. They beat Ascot, who were all out for 99. Mount Lawley Inglewood 110, lost to Yokine Pilbara 1 for 113 off 20.1. That's the way we like it. Well done, Yokine. And thank you for the picture as well. If you can let me know who that was, I'd appreciate it. Western Wolves, they had 6 for 140, defeating West Coast all out for 33. And I don't know, sometimes there's a yin and it goes into a yang. West Coast in the F grade here went down early, but it meant that they were able to provide a couple of spares to replace the injured players in their B grade. So I don't know. I think you'd rather take the win, wouldn't you, Bailey? Dianella 105 off 29. They lost to Brabham in the final of their 4 games. 5 for 106 off 23. Best of the batsmen had Veet Vidaya with 63 not out. Andre Burris had 41 off 46 at Dianella, and that's a special mention because that is 45% of their score there. Jose Oliva Thungal had 36 not out, Nijal Patel 33, and my mate Ruchira Paliaguru and Syed Abidi both with 31. Golden Ducks, Dianella had 1. Mount Lawley, they had 2. Patel Vishal had 5 for 22 off 7 for Brabham. Good effort there, Patel. Mohammed Niaz had 5 for 26, so a pair of 5-fers. Prashanth N, and that is how it's written up. Prashanth N had 4 for 6 off 3.2, and Dario Sorbello had 3 for 5 off 5, so between them 7 for 11 off 8 there for Prashanth and Dario of Western Wolves. Well done. Amila Vithanagi, I hope I got that right, Amila. He had 4 for 6 off 6.2. What is with all these 4-fers and 5-fers in F grade? Manuka Raburo had 3 for 15. Thanks for keeping things normal there, Manuka. Ladder-wise, it's tight at the top. Southern Rossmoyne and Brabham both on 8 and 1. Western Wolves have 7, Yokine 6. Then 3 teams. It's a definite. This grade is one of the grades, and there's only a couple. This is one of them where that it is a top and a bottom half. Yokine on 6 have 4th. Then there are 3 teams on 2. Dianella, Mount Lawley Inglewood and West Coast while Ascot have just the one win to their name so far. G grade. This is an easy week for me on the broadcast here. It was the equaliser round. Last week I said there was only one game. Turned out there was only one game. Allenbrook, Helena Valley, Mundaring, SKLP and Scarborough all sat out last week, while University put on 117 off 32, but it wasn't enough. Maylands 7 for 245 off their 40 overs. Sirajan Devareddy, he's a skipper for Maylands. He had 52. Mahesh V had 48 not out, batting at 8 for Maylands and 32 extras. So literally those two guys there, and I smile, I'm just doing the maths. 100 between them, 32 extras, then the 100 between the other 8 players. Well, Jonathan Borrello of University, they might have to change his name to Mr. 360 because he was an all-rounder. 35 with the bat, 1 for 32 off 6 with the ball, and a catch as the keeper. So he bats, he bowls, and he keeps. Jonathan Borrello, well done. Jun Thalapalli had 3 for 19. He was the only bowler to get 3 for in this game. Then Preetham Gandoji had 4 catches as the keeper for Maylands. Allenbrook lead, they're on 6 wins. Helena Valley on 5, they're 1.2 behind. Then we have Maylands on 5 as well. They're 0.3 behind Helena Valley. Scarborough and University battling it for fourth. They've got 3 wins and 0.5 separating them, while Mundaring have 2 and SKLP have 1. All right, what we're going to do, just take our final break of the show and then be back in just a moment for the remainder of the grades, as well as the Golden Duck update, the tally update. We know what's going on, who's leading going into the Christmas break, who survived, who got cut, who's in the All-Stars team, and of course the Effort of the Week winner will be announced here on the Intersport Slater Gartrell Perth Swan Cricket Association review show with me, Noelzy Johnston, coming to you live from the Community Sports Show studio, thanks to ID Athletic for all your sporting apparel and promotional club merchandise. ID Athletic can help you and your club build your identity, and I see Harley Brown just giving me feedback. I've learned to accept responsibility, Harley. You very generously offered to help and then ran over your own toe. But if it falls off, I'll buy you a replacement. All right, well, we'll take a break and be back in just a moment here on the Community Sports Show. We'll see you in a sec.
Tales and their dreams. It's the only place for you and your teams.
everyone, welcome back. You're here on the Intersport Slater Gartrell Perth Swan Cricket Association review show with me, Noelzy Johnston. I'm travelling solo tonight. My mate couldn't make it, and his sub clearly couldn't make it either. So if you'd like to join me in the broadcast studio here in Middle Swan for a show, I'd love to hear from you. The opportunity's there. Just like the opportunities are there to pick up great deals with our platinum sponsors, ID Athletic, for all your sporting apparel and promotional club merchandise, and Vision Decor for curtains, blinds, awnings, even hybrid floorings. And I send a message of get well soon to Mike Ash, who, speaking of toes, Harley, there's the segue there. Mike Ash, the boss at Vision Decor and former president at Caversham, having surgery, so wishing him a speedy recovery. All right, let's get into it. H grade. And Harley, just let me know, are you in the association side? We're going to have a look at the captains in a moment. Let's have a look at H grade first, though. Carlisle, 2 for 121 off 20.5 overs, beating Allenbrook all out for 119. Midland, just one down. I'm loving seeing this because it means there are people out there batting extended periods at the top of the order, and I love that. Midland, 1 for 116 off 22 overs, defeating Glen Forest all out 115. City Beach, 9 for 152 off 38.4 overs. 6 balls to spare got up over Coolbinia West Perth, 9 for 151. Well, Yokai and Pilbara all out for 63. Well, we've seen some lower scores than that, but it's not great, H grade there. Going down to Bayswater, 137 off 34. Now, I mentioned Yokai and Pilbara before, gave you a thumbs up for tagging us in your pictures, but can you please put your scores in? There's no Yokai and Pilbara batting or bowling information about to be mentioned because there was none on Play HQ. What was there though was Satvir Singh of Midland. He had 64 not out. Fawad Hussain had 53. Then the Sykes brothers, I'm going to say brothers, they could be father and son, could be uncle, or who knows. Nick Sykes had 46 off 101 at 2, and Jacob Sykes 23 off 23 at 7 for the Rangers, and the Sykes brothers putting on 69 of the 119, so just 50 runs if you include extras scored by the rest of the Allenbrook side there. Prabhat Hiva had 40 with the bat. Mitchell Rees, 37 not out. He also took 2 catches and took 2 for 22 off his 8 overs for City Beach to put in a good performance there. Alan Turvey, another good performance. Unfortunately, Alan, you're playing in H grade, and while you're still on the All-Stars list in green, you've done enough this week with 31 off 57. Batting at 1, you're up against blokes getting tons regularly, so it's a little tough in there. But I have got you on my bench, so well done there. Looking at the bowlers, Matt Dowsett had 4 for 8 off 4.2, and Vince Zuccarino had 4 for 18 for Bayswater as well, so 8 to those 2 bowlers. Sagir Khan had 3 for 8. James Saunders for Midland had 3 for 16. And Luckmal Don had 3 for 31. And another all-round performance here, the skipper of Carlisle's H grade, Javed Hafiz. He had 1 for 23. Not extraordinary. Took 3 catches and made 51 not out off 60, batting at 1 for Carlisle and putting pretty much half of their score, so great effort, Jarvid. Josh Thorpe also chipped in with a great effort for the Red Dogs. He had 3 catches and 2 wickets. Unlike Glen Forest and Allenbrook, who both chipped in a golden duck. City Beach lead the H grade there. They are on 7 and 2. Midland, Coolbinia, West Perth and Bayswater just 1 game behind on 6. Carlisle, well, the Red Dogs, they can sniff 4th from there. Bayswater in jeopardy. They're only 1 game ahead. They need to keep winning. Glen Forest in the hunt, but a couple of steps behind. Yokoline and Allenbrook both have 1. Well, nearly there. But first, it's time to look at I grade. I for interesting, because a lot of, with the exception of 1 team, the lowest score amongst the rest was 150. So let's have a look. Bayswater 5 for 224, defeating Western Wolves 180. Coolbinia, West Perth 152, defeating City Beach 150. Caversham 8 for 213 off their 40. Lost to Middle Swan 6 for 223. A smile, Steve, Mr. Uber. 6 for 223, Middle Swan. And then SKLP, well, they had an easy day out. 189, defeating Mount Lawley Inglewood all out for 50 off 21 overs there. Best of the batsmen in I grade. AJ Kang was a candidate for the video of this week. Didn't get it, but that went to Riley. We saw that during the break. AJ with 103 not out. Chris Nielsen had 100 on the knocker. This bloke, I've had to spell his name out for myself. It is Cam Bielobrodsky. He had 76 not out. Sranavis Kata had 63 not out. 103 not out, 76 not out, 63 not out. Great efforts. Adam Duffy and Mahir Thakkar had 57. Harry Mangat had 47. Deepak Ragvani 40. Joy Deep Singh 39 for the Wolves. Tanmoy Mandel and Josh Bennett both had 38. And Bayswater gave up 36 extras that didn't really affect them because they won comfortably there, but still worth a mention. And Anthony Fisher with 33. 4 golden ducks, 4 gold. It's that time of year. 4 golden ducks. Middle Swan, SKLP. Mount Lawley had 2. Yeah, that was bad. I won't do that again, I promise. Deepak Varani had 4, unless you want me to. I won't put out an album. Deepak Varani, he had 4 for 17. Jack Preslin, 4 for 21. Then we get into the 3-fers. James Dello, a new name, 3 for 17 and 30 with the bat, a good effort. Tom Condello, 3 for 17 as well. James Connolly had 3 for 22. DT Darren Thompson, 3 for 25. And Anil Jaiswara, 3 for 28. Looking at the ladder, SKLP on 8, Mount Lawley, Inglewood, Coolbinia, West Perth and Western Wolves, all 3 games behind, separated by, what do we got there, 1.3. Middle Swan have 4 sitting outside the top 4 though. Then at City Beach, Caversham and Bayswater all with 3 wins. And in our final grade, before we get into the T20, it is J grade. There's Murdy Mazenod defeating Belmont. That is no way is that correct. I'm smiling, viewers, because I've been set up there. There's Murdy Mazenod, and if there's... Okay, just 1 second, because there is no way, I'm going to say it's about 110, but I'm pulling up the stats here. Just bear with me, because what it says on my screen is Les Mazenod, 187 off their 40 overs, defeated Belmont 11 off 29. Now, I know that's not right. So, as I quickly toggle backwards as fast as I can to round 9, there we go. Thank you, Play HQ. Where are we at? Belmont LM. There's a 1 missing. It's 111. Still not enough though, Belmont, unlucky. That was in the battle, first versus third. That's Mazenod rarely stamping their authority. Ascot 169, lost to Forestfield 171 in a close game there. Bullsbrook 6 for 299 in 40 overs. A great knock up there at Pickett Park, defeating Dianella 7 for 113. And then Swanview 170, defeating SKLP 9 or all out for 106. Batting mentions, Jonas Mattingly. Well, I have to laugh. Rowan Toms, leave Jonas alone. He's on the radar for the All-Stars, and why not? With 116 off 53 balls. Batting at 3, and that really does put the pressure on Dylan Morgan. But unfortunately for Jonas, Dylan took a couple of wickets as well. So, Jonas, well done. 100 of your 116 came off boundaries. That's 35% of your team's score. That's a good effort in anyone's language. To flip the table, Lane Taylor took 57 off 103 to be the contrast there for Bullsbrook. James Tomaselli had 83. Courtney Wilson had 63, batting at 5, and took 4 for 30 to put himself in contention for the All-Stars. Brad Bennett 49, Dan Hardingham 41, Max Vinchek 40 not out. Ian Jones had 35, Robin Roberts 33, Jeff Grisnick 32, Bhupendra Patel with 31. The last of the actual batting mentions. But bowling-wise, SKLP, you do not help yourself when you bowl 40 extras. That's all I'll say there. And Forestfield, well, they made it hard for themselves. They won by a couple of runs with 7 balls to go. But they gave up 38 extras to Ascot there. Speaking of Ascot, they got one of the 2 Golden Ducks and Swanview got the other. Looking at the bowling mentions, Craig Mitchell had 3 for 7. Travis Carter had 3 for 11, taking 6 between them for Les Mazenod. Howard Newitt had 3 for 12. Lalji Vasani had 3 for 19. Craig Peacock 3 for 22. And Manji Vajani 3 for 25. And Connor Mann 3 for 37. Undefeated at this stage is impressive. 9 rounds in. Les Mazenod rule the roost on 9-0. Bullsbrook a couple of games behind on 7. Then 3 with 4 wins. So Forestfield, Belmont and SKLP. And that is 0.005 from 4th to 5th. So Belmont hanging on by the skin of their teeth there. Dianella and Ascot have 3, and Swanview rounding out the J-grade mentions there with a couple of wins. Alright, we're done with the grades. Let's just have a look at the Tuesday night ID Athletic T20. No broadcast last week, or this week just gone, because it was my anniversary. Happy 36th anniversary to me. My wife took me out to a lovely dinner at Crown Resort, so that was yum. Thanks. Sorry, it meant I couldn't film the cricket, though. Sometimes life and the wife has to come first. Middle Swan, well, 5 for 158, defeating Caversham That's Caversham 2, 7 for 157. Swanview 2, 148 got up over Mount Lawley Inglewood 114. Forestfield, well, back-to-back 50s. Not gonna cut it too far there. 59 off 14 going down to Bayswater. Just to prove that they can actually play the short game. 5 for 180 off 20. Dianella 7 for 114 defeating Allenbrook 112. Glen Forest not having a good season so far. They went down to Swanview number 1. 4 for 201 to 117. Hawks Punjabi 2 for 154 off just 9.3 overs. Yes, 9.3 overs. Defeating Carlisle 5 for 153. And Caversham number 1 had 4 for 137 to defeat West Coast 6 for 131. Looking at the batting, and we will go through these. Trent Kinley had 90 off 50. Yaya Ali. Now, if there's anyone out there I've heard things about Yaya. I see in the Cricket West competition this weekend that he's actually playing for another association, and that he's shall we call it a transient player. And that's okay. The T20 competition rules allow that, but Yaya with 75. Joe Quinn-Levin had 72. Akshay Phillips 67. Middle Swans Yaya had, that's Matt Lolly, he had 66 not out. Gurpreet Singh had 56 not out. Tom Baker 56. Mohsin Ali 53. Wes Morton hung on to his spot in the All-Stars thanks to his T20 performance. 51 not out. Jason Noble 51 and out. Noah Critter-White coming across to the 78s from High Wycombe. And speaking of High Wycombe, I just want to send a brick bat to the morons that decided to dig up their pitch and burnouts and do burnouts and all sorts of damage to the High Wycombe pitch. Hopefully you get caught and you get to feel the consequences. Noah had 46. Cooper Hubbard had 46 not out. Garganpreet Singh had 39. Brendan Philpott backed up his good form from the weekend. He had 37. Jeffrey Hammond and James Lovelock with 33. And then Jake D'Souza rounding out the T20 mentions with 31. Well, speaking of mentions, Luca Johnson 5 for 27 for Mount Lawley Inglewood and 23 to be their top scorer with the bat. Good effort, Luca. Darren Chandler took 4 for 15. Iqbal Sandhu 4 for 18 and Alan Anthony 4 for 22. And then in the threefers, Kieran Abrams 3 for 6 and Taylor Tobias 3 for 9 for Bayswater. Zach Hupping 3 for 17 for Dianella. And across the T20 competition, there were five Golden Ducks. And I won't sing. I said I won't, so I won't. All right, looking at the ladder, there are 5 sides undefeated. Swanview 1, Caversham 1, Dianella, Hawks Punjabi and Middle Swan making up the top 5 there. Bayswater, Mount Lawley Inglewood, Swanview number 2 and Allenbrook all have 1 win, 1 loss. While Caversham 2, Carlisle, West Coast, Glen Forest and Forestfield all hoping to get a win and come home with a storming finish, because that competition is top 4 only. Go 78s. All right, there is T20s this coming Tuesday. We'll get to them or we'll do them and then have a look at the Cricket West. T20 games this week, 23rd, 2 days before Christmas. Mount Lawley Inglewood up against Hawks Punjabi, Forestfield taking on Glen Forest. And that one, I'm almost tempted to do that broadcast because both Glen Forest and Forestfield sitting at the tail. I reckon that would be a really close game. Bayswater with a cheeky smile. Could also be an early one. Bayswater taking on Middle Swan. West Coast at home against Dianella. Swanview 1 take on Allenbrook. Carlisle take on Caversham number 1. And Caversham 2 take on Swanview 2. Match of the round there. Realistically, from closeness, I'm going to say Forestfield Glen Forest, which is why I thought about going up to have a look at that one. Otherwise, Mount Lawley Inglewood and Hawke's Punjabi. Mount Lawley Inglewood looking to get a second win there. If they can, that'll draw them level. All right, well, this weekend there is no Perth Swan Cricket Association. There is no North Suburban Community Cricket. There is no South Metro Cricket. There is no WA Suburban Turf Cricket. What we have is the Cricket West competition. That is North Suburban versus South Metro versus WA Suburban Turf versus Perth Swan Cricket Association. There are 4 grades. Perth Swan Cricket Association, the reigning title holders in the seniors and the veterans, courtesy of their grand final wins last year. However, there has been a change. It is no longer a grand final per se. It is a round robin, finish on top of the table, and you are the premiers for the year. So that means, in my eyes, that the Perth Swan Cricket Association will forever be the remaining grand final winners in their seniors and vets until they change it back. But some work to do. I'm sure under the guidance, I've mentioned them throughout, the seniors being led by Rayan Cox, the veterans by Happy Bopere, Colts by Kyle Cornfield, and the women being led by Mel Fulcher. Best of luck to all of the teams out there. We've seen Bailey online. We wish him best of luck. Everyone in all of the sides, we wish the best of luck. Represent yourself, represent your club, and represent the Perth Swan Cricket Association to the best of your ability, and that's all anyone can ever ask. The fixtures have been posted up on our page already. I will post the Frog Box links. We're not there. As you saw someone say, enjoy the weekend off. I will enjoy tomorrow off, but I will be heading out to the games on Sunday. Fixtures are on our page. We've shared that. I'll share the Frog Box links, or you can head out to Britannia Reserve to see the action for yourself. Games get underway at 9 o'clock. Fixtures throughout the morning and afternoon for the men's, women's and vets competitions. All right, well, we're here. Let me just do a quick timestamp there. I love when I'm actually on time. It says be here by 8:30. It says 8:32 on my time device. Time device is really my phone. Okay, let's have a look at the Golden Duck update. 22 this week takes us to a total of 223 for the season. An equal second best. We've had 1 week of 21. Now, second of 22 now. A grade and B grade in the one-day format, both with 25 Golden Ducks each. On the club stake, Caversham lead with 22, SKLP have 18, then we drop down to Brabham with 12. All of that is subject to the pro rata basis. A bit like our votes when we do the votes for the video of the week or the video of the month. For equity, we divide the number of in this case Golden Ducks, by the number of teams at your club to give us a club average. So still plenty of movement there, and a few clubs in the 11s and 10s with only 2 sides, so they in fact will be leading. They just don't know it yet. Well, speaking of leading, we led into the show with an announcement that the Perth Swan Cricket Association Community Sports Show All-Stars team is official. Yes, thanks to the PSCA exec for their approval there. I will be the arbiter. I will be the judge. It will be based across every grade. It will be based on the top 4, middle 4, and then a bottom 3. There will be a sub per group, a spare per group, a total of 14 positions up for grabs. 5 people are safe this week, 5 or 6 are in jeopardy, and there was just one change. Kulvinder Danjal out, unfortunately. Kulvinder falling victim there. In comes to number 6, I should say. Into number 6 comes Sean Cohen of Helena Valley with his 93 off 59 and 2 for 32. Exactly what you want off a number 6 batsman there. Well done, Sean. Right, now, we have our Joey's Swan Valley Diner vouchers to give away for the video of the week. We also have, and I'm just leaning, actually, I'm not going to lean anywhere because they're right here. So, for our effort of the week, we have a Joey's Swan Valley Diner voucher. Oh, there we go. Sorry about the glare, I'll turn it down, that's better. Gift voucher from Joey's Swan Valley Diner. We have a $50 gift voucher from, again, just turn it down, Slater Gartrell Intersport there. Thanks very much, Mike Wilkie. And we have the exclusive ID Athletic Community Sports Show merchandise, the First Nations singlet and bucket hat. And this week, I've looked across, there were tons, there was almost tons of tons. There was a few tons, lots of 50s, a few fifers. Throughout the show, I've mentioned lots of good double up efforts with bat and ball. But this week, I think I have to give, in fact I have given, the review show effort of the week to, from Bullsbrook, and I'm smiling because there's 2 blokes in the running here. I've gone for the C grade option. It is Brandon Girardi with 107 off 131, batting at 1/8, 4s and 1/6. So really relying on 2s and 3s there, batting form, getting him through. Well done, Jura. Plus he had 2 catches and a run out. He doesn't bowl, or at least not very well. So an effort in the field there, Brandon Girardi. Congratulations on taking out the Effort of the Week award for week 10. All right, well, that is pretty much it. Thank you to everyone, wherever you are across the globe, for joining me. I am Noelzy Johnston, and Michael Edwards, good evening to you. Big shout out to Jono and the rest of the Essex crew. I hope you're on the mend, mate, and not watching too, as you put the English flag up there, I hope you're not watching too much from Adelaide. Tough to be an English supporter at the moment, but I love your passion. I love the fact that you were down last week. We saw each other pre-show. Thanks for the photo. Big shout out to your family. And then you run into Richo to make another moment. Hopefully you're on the mend, Edo, and I look forward to seeing you out and about again. Wherever you are across the globe, I am Noelzy Johnston. A big thank you to everyone for joining me. Thanks again to Chris Hawkins for jumping on board and taking those photos for me between Bayswater and Carlisle last week. Edo, is there a game going on? No, not really. Okay, just a reminder, no broadcast tomorrow or this weekend. It is the Cricket West Carnival at Britannia Reserve in Leederville. where Perth Swan Cricket Association take on the best of the rest, and we look to defend our titles there. If you can get down, show your support. If you grab some photos, please post them or message them to us and we'll put them up. We'll head out there Sunday for a look as well. Then Tuesday night at 4:45, my anniversary's been and gone, so I'm back at the cricket. I'll figure out where over the weekend and talk to a couple of clubs there. Until next time, thanks to our sponsors, ID Athletic and Vision Decor. Our show sponsor, Intersport Slater Gartrell. Our gift sponsor, or gift voucher sponsor, Joey's Swan Valley Diner and Barner Construction, as well as my mate, Steve Abbott, who couldn't be here tonight, of PFG Plumbing and Gas, for sponsoring our awards, the end of year awards as well. Steve, if you've got a little bit extra, we can talk about the All-Stars. Till then, wherever you are, please, it is the holidays. This is the last Friday before Christmas, so I'll say Merry Christmas now. Wish you all a safe holiday wherever you are. Please, 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 in these troubled times, it's going to be hot. It's going to be challenging. Some people won't have family to spend Christmas with. Some will not want to be spending Christmas with their family. No matter what your circumstances out there, please take care of yourself, and just as importantly, take care of those around you as well. I am Noelzy Johnson on the Community Sports Show for the Intersport Slater Gartrell Perth Swan Cricket Association. Take care, and we'll see you on Tuesday for the T20.
To the rivers, beside golden sands too. Listen up, Perth, this anthem's for you. All over town, Perth Swan Cricket lighting the way. The great game of cricket, we live it every day. Pitch, it's a battle of will. The smell of the turf and the cheers that still thrill. Grass beneath our feet, we sweat and we grind. The heart of Perth Swan, we're one of a kind. So come, raise your voices, let the anthem ring. We're the pride of Perth Swan. Hear the songs we all sing. Perth Swan's on fire. Feel the energy soar. When the crowd starts roaring, we're ready globe with the sound of the game.